This conference will now be recorded.
Just so that if
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, here we go. We're live. All right, so we're with Karen and now Tim. Tim, if you want to mute your line and if you want to introduce yourself.
Yeah, sorry. Just getting everything all set up here. My name is Tim. I just last month got diagnosed with MS. I'm waiting next month to find out my treatment plan. So this is all extremely new to me. We've been trying to figure this out for the past 4 years. And well, I finally get to, I guess, join the club, I guess. So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
you know, it took me 15 years to find a doctor.
Well, welcome to the club, then, Tim. I mean, you're with good people. So next up, then, Mike, introduce yourself. Where you been?
I've been acid staining my driveway. That project.
Why are you doing that, Mike?
I'm not sure how long I can stay on. I've been working outside.
Okay. That's fine.
Anyway, I feel bad
Can
for
I
Tim.
just tell you one thing that's very important that you should know?
Tammy, you're welcome to be in the conversation and everything, but give everybody a chance to talk before giving your perspectives. I think we're still waiting to introduce everybody. So yeah, just give everyone a chance to talk. So Mike, you were asphalting. Is that what you're doing?
I'm acid staining. First time I've ever done it, and it's going to turn out really cool. And I'm tired of paint chipping off, so that's my project these days. And I'm not sure how long I'll be on the meeting. I have to go outside every so often and check on things. I'm glad to be here. Sorry I missed the last meeting and the art festival or whatever we had. I look forward to being more engaged going forward. Yes,
Well, we're glad you're here now, Mike.
we really don't need any more members of our club.
Yeah.
Welcome, but you're here.
And the last introduction that we have left is Elizabeth. Do you want to go ahead?
Yeah, I'm Elizabeth. I forget, I've had MS for 17 years, and I'm from California and North Carolina. Between the two things, so.
Okay. Well, there's a lot of issues to talk about tonight. I know, Linda, you had brought up some issues that just like acceptance. I think maybe that's something that we can agree and talk about, and just so I suppose, Linda, would you like to expand, or do you feel comfortable talking to start?
Well, I really don't know what else to say. I was diagnosed actually 30 some years ago.
Okay.
And I did very, very well for a long, up until about 2 years ago. I was very thankful I was able to raise my 4 kids and all of that. But like 2 or 3 years ago, my balance has gotten very bad to the point where I had to go out and get a cane, which was hard to admit that I needed a cane. I tried Abagio, and for different reasons, it just didn't work for me. And I don't think there's really anything else that I can try. So I just try every day to be positive about it it's really hard because, like you all know, I mean, I'm walking and I have to hold on to all kinds of stuff just to get through the house. Um, but I guess I just need to know how everybody else is coping with their MS, and I need to know that I'm not alone.
I think, I mean, if you could see everyone nodding their heads, that I think it's a pretty consensus thing that we've all had our struggles and the challenges with balance and with walking. And so I think that that's very, I would say that that's very much, yeah, that's a pretty consensus thing. So I don't know, is that,
Well, I think it's just the it is. It's
oh,
just like
by the way, I'm sorry that Dan didn't really introduce himself.
I'm just here. I know I'm Dan Digman. I'm Jennifer's husband. I've lived with MS for about 21 years, and I am sorta in the Okervis pool, but still waiting on that. So that's me. Um, but as far as it is, I think, and we had just written an article about the acceptance, and it's like it's like think of this. I think everybody here, I mean, however long, whether you're newly diagnosed or seasoned veterans like us, I mean, this disease changes daily, and it's just like just when you think you have your handle on it and stuff, something else happens. And so then it's just like, even though you've like accepted it and you're doing fine, like right now, then something else happens or something else shifts or changes. And it's like, and not, yeah, and it's not being negative. It's just being, just being honest that it's like, this acceptance is, I think we had said it's a forever process, and I think that's just where you don't get used to it. I mean, certainly it's I guess it how do I say that? It's like I'll provide a link. This isn't like shameless self promotion, but it's like so I am a writer and not a speaker because I can't the words don't always come to me right away. But it's like just how it doesn't happen overnight. It's just like we just continue to do it. We continue to evaluate. But I think this is why this like a group like this is so important. It's just like just to surround yourself with people who get it, who understand, and that's my 10 cents worth. So I gave you a bunch there.
Dan, what happened with the last time? That was 3 weeks ago. You were headed to get your treatment.
Oh, Karen, we only got a couple hours here for me to go into.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I mean, long story short, there were mix-ups with the type of. Okay, I'll be really quick. So I went in to get the infusion, and they messed up and didn't get all of the blood work I needed done. So they're just like, so I had to schedule it for the next week. So then when I got it done and I didn't want the same thing to happen, so when I got the treatment, I said, okay, when is my next one? And they're like, it will be next Friday, which would have been last Friday. So then and I double, triple checked with them. You're sure? You're sure? So I went in last Friday. They're like, oh, we were just going to call you. You're not due for next week because it's 2 weeks between your half doses. So now I go in for my second half dose this coming Friday. So, I mean, it's happening. It's real. It's doing. I saw my insurance bill, and you start saying, oh yeah, this stuff's really expensive. So yeah. So Karen, it's coming. It's happening. And I'm excited. I think it's and no, Kim, I had the munchies more than anything. I could sleep no problem, but I was there like, it's 11:30 at night. I mean, this big bowl of crunch berries, and you're just like, oh my God, this is so good. So that's where I'm at with my my Ocrevus. So that's But again,
It actually sounds better than what I was thinking. You know, when you started, it's like, oh, okay. You know,
yes,
we really should pool all our writings for all these, like, what could go wrong? What happened? Who said
yeah,
what? Wait, I thought, no, it didn't. Wait, but wait a minute, but.
yeah, yeah. So it's all good. But like for that, Linda, I've been, living with it for 20 plus years. I mean, it's just that continued adjustment, acceptance of things, and it's like, but then you roll with the punches, right?
So is the medication helping you?
As far as I suppose a lot of times too with the Ocrevus, at least for me initially, you feel like you're on top of the world because you're on the steroids that come with the Ocrevus. So, but I think, being on the beta serum for 20 plus years, I was running out of places to give myself a shot. And so I'm as far as being better, I love the fact that I don't have to worry about that every other night to take a shot. And, it's like once I'm done with my second half dose, I don't need to worry about it for another 6 months. So I think
I mean,
there's
I'm sorry, I'm so new to this. When I was diagnosed, there was nothing that you could do. The only thing my doctor could do when I had like a relapse is start me on steroids. There was no medication available back in the mid 80s. So now there is medication, but like I said, the only one that my doctors recommended is Aubagio, and I didn't do well with it. So I don't have another appointment with my neurologist until I think July, isn't it?
And your husband is most welcome to join us, Linda, if you want
Okay.
to. Yeah. uh, and I don't want to put him on the spot or anything, but
No,
like,
you're not.
yeah. But it's interesting, that like as you were talking about when we were first diagnosed, there were only three therapies, and now there are close to 25. And so for you,
Really?
yeah, like for you, Tim, being newly diagnosed, have you talked with your doctor? Are you like investigating disease modifying therapies?
Yeah, I'm doing that right now, and that's kind of why I'm here tonight is to um, get the perspective of other folks that have been through it for a lot longer than I have. I'm one of those types that I if Doc says something, I'm going to investigate it because I'll be quite honest. I'm not pleased with the care that I'm getting right now from the staff and where I'm getting care at. So I'm having to do it on my own. My last neurologist was a big fan of lumbar punctures,
Yeah.
and that's all he wanted to do for the longest time before I finally got my diagnosis. And I did one that basically turned my face white. It felt like a electrical current was going through my left leg while it was being set on fire, and they had to do that lumbar puncture 5 times in one session.
Ah,
And
I had to do it once, and it was the most disgusting thing I've ever been through.
Hurts so bad.
and the neurologist that I fired said, "Oh, that's all in your head." And I said, "Well, then you're gonna have to tell my wife it was all in my head because she's never seen me that scared, that in that much pain in my entire life, and I've gone through some pretty painful stuff in my life." So yeah, I'm just at that beginning stage where a lot of you have been, I'm sure, where I'm just getting this wall of information and trying to figure out, okay, which way do I go? So
absolutely.
Yeah.
that's kind of where I'm at right now. So I figure I'm in a good enough place with you all right here. So
Where do you live?
I live in Fredericksburg, Virginia,
Virginia.
Oh,
and I'm getting my treatment. The docs down at Virginia Commonwealth University down in Richmond, Virginia, are the ones that finally pulled the trigger and said, "Yep, you got MS." But I'm really dissatisfied with their staff and with the docs themselves. So I'm actually talking with my local neurologist here in Fredericksburg to get referred to either University of Virginia and Charlottesville or Johns Hopkins up in Baltimore, just because they seem to have better histories with treating MS.
And that's critical because I was only diagnosed 2.5 years ago, and I liked the neurologist at first. And I went through that hideous lumbar puncture. I mean, and I had other things. And I mean, that was the only time I really freaked out. Mine wasn't as bad as yours, but still, it came in the room. I knew I had an appointment with someone, and then this young guy is a resident. He walks in and he introduces himself, and I went, "You're not going to do this. You're not the one who's going to do this." And he was like, and then I just freaked out because they're like in the middle of, they're in my spine. I mean, the main doctor explained it, and to me, it felt like it was like over here, this is my spine and it was over here. And I said, it feels like you're like on the left side or something. He goes, I'm right in the center. And then I just lost it. What's wrong with me? My body, I can't even feel anything. And then I lost it. And then the guy, I probably broke his fingers, the resident, because I think he got a good lesson in like, it's not just about the technique and the procedure, and he like let me hold his fingers, and I didn't pass out like you, but I will never let that happen to me again. So it's just criminal that they would even suggest 5 times, that, oh, well, we made a mistake. I had to do that with my MRI the first time because something's wrong with me. And the neurologist sent me for an MRI, which I had to pay, my big copay. And he said, well, maybe you have a brain tumor. And it's like, well, no, it's not a brain tumor. Let's do it again with contrast. It's like, okay, I mean, I'm not claustrophobic, so like that wasn't the worst thing. But yeah, they're just like, okay, here, okay, well, then, yeah, look, all right, now do that. And I had to call a member services. What, I have to do this again? Like, wait, I have to pay again, $250 copay? Again, I have to do whatever. And you have to be really vigilant when you just don't want to be. You're already in shock. Because I'm only 2.5 years into this. And that neurologist, after the lumbar puncture, which actually said that I had positive oligoclonal bands, like, do I know what that means? And after looking into the brain tumor and also the thyroid cancer they said I had from the MRI that I didn't have, I was like, why am I going to go down this rabbit hole of diseases that I don't have? I just checked to see all the tests that were ordered. Are these all the tests? And it's like, sounds like that's good. And then months go by, and then I finally get to see an MS specialist, and I went back to the neurologist I thought I liked. And he couldn't look me in the eye. He came out to get me. When usually a medical assistant does, he says, well, come on back here. And he was sitting there and his knee was going like this, and he couldn't look me in the eye. And when I first met him, I walked into his office, and now I had the cane, the dreaded cane, Linda, and the diagnosis. And I really went there with an open heart to say, well, how does this happen? I didn't even have the wherewithal to confront him and say, how did you not notice that I had positive oligoclonal bands? And that's a marker, because at that point I couldn't even wrap my head around what was going on with me. And I had written a story about what was going on with me. And he goes, so what do you think? So what do you think about, he was so nervous. And this was someone I had talked to quite a few times. And then I said, well, here, read this. And I had read it to a medical psychologist. I gave it to a medical psychologist to read. And she said, I feel like crying. She read what I wrote about how I've just been on this runaround for years of whatever. And he got defensive. And I said, look, you asked me, just read it. And then he said, well, I was looking for, relapse and remission. And I was like, well, I'm 67 years old. Why are you looking for a disease of 20-year-olds? 15% get primary progressive. So it was hideous that he just didn't even. So I've gotten really good, and I've had a lot of different people, and now, but I've worked really hard to get a team that I like, and it's like no, 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 and then to hold, because the MS specialist I finally did see was really at first good, and then she had terrible bedside manner with me, and I had to really, I found out she had a nurse who was great, and she said, I think she's the best doctor in Kaiser. I think she's the best doctor I've ever worked with. She's extremely thorough. And I was like, okay, maybe I remind her of her mother. I'm not going to throw her out because I don't like what she did. And I think probably through her nurse mediated and my own doctor, it was like, okay, let's behave. Let's not, let's
Yeah.
not. So it's such a journey of,
And it really is. And we've talked about in the past how important it is to have a good neurologist and someone that you trust. And like I said, Tim, there are so many available medications. You know, Tree is relatively newly diagnosed herself. And, you know, Megan is on a therapy that she really likes. We've talked about in the past. So, I mean, if you're looking for people, and Elizabeth is on, you know, this is a good group to ask questions to about therapy, and hopefully we can address that. You know, I think everybody, you know, has something if they want to share about that. I know Tree, if you feel comfortable just telling us how you're doing and sharing your exciting news about your therapy.
Yeah, so I'm in a clinical trial that is comparing Aubagio to a new improved Aubagio that doesn't have a name yet. So I just say I'm on Aubagio, which is a once a day pill.
Okay.
And I was just explaining it for those who don't know about
Yeah.
Aubagio. And I've been on it for a month now. And over the last week and a half-ish, I've had a lot more energy than I've had in the last 3 years. My fatigue has been really low. I've actually been able to clean my house and cook. I drove for the first time in a year yesterday.
Yay, that's huge.
I don't know if it's the Aubagio, but I haven't been using my crutches as much lately. Like, I don't use them for balance. I use them because I get so exhausted that my right leg will start dragging. But I haven't had to use them when I've been out and about in public. I think that's all the improvements I've seen so far, but I'm really loving it. I'm super excited.
That's awesome.
That's really good. And I think that's super important, is just to stay up on the medication. You know, stay up on the treatment and hopefully find a good neurologist. And if you don't find one, keep looking, you know, find somebody that you like. So, yeah. Megan, how are you doing?
I'm actually doing pretty good. I wanted to speak to what you just said, and Tim, you might find this interesting about finding a provider. I was diagnosed in 2009. I think I said after all this time, I finally in the last few weeks put on my big girl pants and not change my doctor because I was unsatisfied. It becomes very easy to stay with what feels comfortable and safe. And I knew the level of advice I was getting just wasn't as good as it should have been, but it was hard. But I did it, and I'm so glad I did it. I also made the change from going from a neurologist to an MS specialist, which I would highly advise Tim if that's available for you as well. It's something I wish I had done years ago, somebody with just that concentrated focus.
Yeah.
So, and this also, despite what Miss Tammy said, I actually got my first dose of Moderna vaccine yesterday, and so far so good. So,
Well, that's good. Glad
yeah.
to hear that. Yeah. Linda, do you have like an MS clinic, or like, are you happy with your neurologist?
I like him. I've only been going to him for about 3 years. But I was just listening to you. What is the difference between a MS specialist and a neurologist?
a neurologist sees people like people with Parkinson's, for example, just different neurological conditions. And an MS specialist sees only people with MS. So that's their whole wheelhouse. They're focused on, like I said, there are over 20 medications to treat the disease. And there's secondary progressive, primary progressive, relapsing, remitting. So an MS specialist should be a little more informed.
They're
Well,
still neurologists. They're
I
just
think I'm older
specialized
than
neurologists.
anyone here, so I probably had MS for longer than all of you. Like I say, when I was first diagnosed, there was nothing,
Mm-hmm.
nothing available. And I really didn't need anything until a couple years ago. And that's when my neurologist recommended Abagio. And we looked into it. It was very, very expensive, as I'm sure you all know.
Yeah.
I mean, we finally found, I can't remember how we found it, but a way to get some assistance for it. But I tried it for about 6 months and I had some side effects that I did not like. And I wasn't really noticing any improvement, or not improvement, any difference. Actually, I think I've been getting worse. Maybe that's because I quit taking it. I don't know. Um, like I say, I didn't like the side effects from it. And so I just quit taking it. So I don't know if that was not very smart to do it that way.
What side effects were you experiencing, Linda?
Well, for a woman, my hair is falling out and getting so thin. And women, I'm sure we're all the same. We're just, that means a lot to us, is our hair. And it just has gotten worse and worse. And I think a lot of it is my age, but it did not start this bad until I started taking Abagio. So, like I say, I quit taking it. I wouldn't have quit taking it just for that fact, but I was noticing no difference in the way I was doing. I was actually getting worse. Do you want to say something?
One of the things that he emphasized is that there's only one drug available that can actually improve your symptoms. All of the other ones that you take essentially do nothing more than not allow the disease to get any worse than it already is. That's what we were told. The one that potentially could improve things was a very, very exorbitantly expensive one. I forget the name of it, but it required you to, do an injection.
Can anyone else not hear Linda's husband?
No, can't hear him.
Pardon me?
Okay.
We can't hear your
Yeah,
husband.
can't hear your husband. Sorry.
Can you hear me now?
No, you're a little muted. Maybe if
Yeah.
you're right in front of the microphone.
Oh, no. Can you hear me better? Is it better?
Huh.
They can hear you, okay, but they can't hear me.
Well, here.
Is this better?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that's a lot better.
Okay. What I was going to say was when we went to the neurologist, one of the things that he told my wife was that there was only one drug available that would potentially improve MS. All of the other things that he said that were on the market were really would do nothing more than stop any more progression of the symptoms and the lesions, etc., associated with MS. But he told us that there was only one drug that was available that would actually potentially improve things. And it was a drug that required you to inject yourself. I thought he said in the stomach. Yeah, maybe it was Mavenclad or there was something like that. But I'm listening to all of the different things that people are talking about doing and taking. I haven't heard anybody say anything about improvements in what went on or the potential that that something has stopped or the lesions are no longer, becoming more and more prevalent. So I guess I'm really surprised that nobody has said, you know what, I can really tell a significant difference in the drugs that I've taken. So that was just my comment. As I listened, I didn't hear anybody talk about actually improving or lesions going away or something like that.
And with that, I'm gonna swing that over to you, Elizabeth, because I know that you would have something to say.
So much. Sorry, I didn't catch your name, Linda's husband. Sorry,
I'm sorry, I'm John.
Hi.
John. Well, I've been on Ocrevus for over 2 years, and the MS medications that are available today, none of them are FDA approved to shrink lesions, or they can have that effect in some people. Different medications that has been observed, but at the same time, it's not anything that they have been cleared in clinical trials for doing. That being said, I just finished a phase 2A clinical trial for a medication that they were hoping that would show a benefit of remyelination. And I got the news after our meeting a couple of weeks ago that it didn't have the desired effects. It didn't meet the endpoint, so they're not going to be going on to phase 3. That being said, that means that I've been on Ocrevus for the same time because I could stay on my disease modifying therapy while I was in the trial. So the Ocrevus may have been what is helping me, and I haven't had any lesions shrink in size or go away, but I've maintained my walking ability, and I've even been improving with my walking ability. I think it's become easier for me to build muscle. That's not to say that I don't have any problems still. I still have the partial numbness that I got from my last relapse in 2018 before starting Ocrevus, but I haven't had any relapses since starting Ocrevus. And there hasn't been any real progression of the disease. I haven't really lost anything more, although someplace numbness shows up and goes around in some places. But I was able to do a 4-mile hike a couple of weeks ago. But that being said, like, I was laid up for about 4 days afterwards, and now I'm laid up again. I've been having spasticity really bad for the last couple of days. But you know, it's really about finding the medication that stops the progression of the disease right now, and hopefully in the future, there's a lot of different medications being tested for its potential, the remyelinating potential. I spoke to my MS specialist. She's at UC Irvine, and she's, you know, already looking ahead to the future. And she says she's not going to do any standard DMT trials anymore. She's focusing completely on repair and also on medications for progressive MS. And so I think there's really a change in the focus to repair and give abilities back, but we're not completely there yet for everyone.
I'll take repair. Repair would be fantastic.
Elizabeth, I read, I don't know where, because you know, you go and you do that deep dive into the internet and it's 3 a.m, whatever. But it's something I read somewhere or heard at a lecture or something, and they were like, well, and they were very hopeful about the way you are about remyelinization. And then they said, I think we're about 9 years out. And I'm like, well, I don't have 9 years. Yes, but is that what you're hearing too?
Well, there are medications that are in phase 2 right now, and so it's still waiting to see. They're in phase 3. I actually have a Facebook group, and I'll put the link. I created it when I started the clinical trial because I kind of built myself a support group for other people in the trial, and but there's a lot of members there now, and everybody shares information about these clinical trials that are specifically for remyelination drugs. And so it's just a great place to go and find what's new, because luckily everybody else has taken over for me posting articles, so I don't have to do it all the time. But I don't think it's 9 years out still. I think it's closer. I don't know that I have any authority to say that, but I think since the methods they're getting, I think they have a way to go still to refine the methods to really measure if remyelination is taking place. Something that I was disappointed with my own trial about the lecanemab trial was the method of evaluating the EDSS scale. I have a very, very variable level of energy throughout the day, from day to day, and sometimes I'm not at my best when I would go in for my clinical evaluation, and sometimes I'm doing really good. And so that's not really watched very much by neurologists. And in my experience until my MS specialist that I have now, I never had a MS specialist or a neurologist that believed me when I would tell them, I'm walking okay right now in your office, but believe me, sometimes I can't even get across the room.
Yeah,
You know,
and they have, I know the last time I did the timed walk, but it was during the pandemic. And, so I had to like judge in my own house, which is also just whatever. And, the number didn't sound so bad. And I said, no, they are very like, whatever it was, I don't remember because I got those holes in my brain. But, let's just say it was like 7 very imperfect seconds. It's only 1 second different than, no, but it's very much. And yeah, Elizabeth, I can second that like over and over and over. Like people don't believe you, because look how good you look on Zoom. It's like, okay, I'm sitting on my ass,
I'm massaging my legs and my arms all through this because they get tight, like you have to do what you can to release those muscles. And yeah, it's a struggle. But something else my neurologist said that really heartened me was, she said that it's possible that the lecanemab could go to phase 2B if it worked for some people. Because she told me, she was like, it basically only worked for one person. So was I that one person? Because I thought that it was helping me, because I was seeing some improvements. But she doesn't know, and I don't know because it's still blinded. But she showed me we went over my MRI, and she showed me my lesions, my 3 cervical spine lesions. And she said she showed me other lesions that were black holes in my brain, the old ones, but she showed me that the lesions that I have on my spine healed nicely. They cause a lot of my problems, but she said they are repairable because they're not black holes. Like they're, damage that could be repaired. So she's hopeful that something better, a better trial will come along that would actually show that those had been repaired somewhat, because my MRIs didn't show any change in my lesions size or number.
So what did, because you said the cervical, what did show a report?
There wasn't any improvement on my MRI. Sorry, I was meaning that he says there's potential. There's potential for improvement if we get the right drug.
I have a question for
Can I just, oh, sorry.
That's okay. Go
I was
ahead.
just going to add there, I'm on 2 different drugs that are showing remyelination properties in clinical trials right now. The clinical trial Aubagio, that's one of the things they're monitoring with it, and also metformin, which is a diabetes drug. They're not officially FDA approved or anything like that because they're still in clinical trials, but they are promising in the clinical trials.
For remyelination, and then since somebody brought up that word, I'm a nurse, but I still didn't know what it meant. I don't, and I remember when I first went to the neurologist 2.5 years ago, and he said, well, I'm going to refer you to a demyelinization specialist. Right? What the
Can
heck
I
does that
tell you
mean?
a product that really works? It's called
Say,
myosin and D3. What it does is it remyelinates your spine. I have the number right here.
no, that's fine. That's fine. I'm saying that I was just I was wondering if other people heard that term. Like for me, first of all, to even go to a neurologist seemed like, why would I need a neurologist? There's nothing wrong with my brain. I just have problems with my balance. And then for him to just keep saying remyelinization specialist, and then I got this form that she used in the mail, which was really excellent. So that actually, if you're wondering about your diagnosis or whatever, I could probably figure out a way to copy it because
Can
neurologists
I
don't
tell you
either.
one thing that really works?
I got a thing in I got a thing in the mail to fill out, when were you diagnosed with MS? It's like, I'm not diagnosed with MS. Why are they asking me this? All these questions to do the diagnostic.
All
And,
you do is
I'm
push your
just
complaint,
confused. There's a remyelinization
You're not even,
specialist. You have MS. But because he even told me that he was sure I did not have MS. That was, so, okay, I don't have a brain tumor. I don't have thyroid cancer. I don't have MS. So why are they asking me questions about that? So it was, but has anybody else been heard of a remyelinization specialist, especially when I think
No.
Megan said, an MS specialist, which, I don't know why the neurologist, I just feel like with this disease, and ever since I've been diagnosed, there's a lot of like euphemistic, we don't want to say. There's a lot of euphemisms, and we don't want to use this word, and we don't want to say that, and we don't know. And
I've never heard of it, but I think any additional specialist is probably a good thing. It means research, so that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Trichu, do you mind if I ask you about you mentioned metformin, I think I'm saying that wrong. Wasn't there an issue in the news with that one? Or am I thinking of a different drug?
oh, there's issues with diabetes, like it causes a lot of abdominal distress and things like that.
Yeah, it causes a lot of GI issues, but it's really good for diabetes.
Okay. Yeah, I asked only because I thought I heard it mentioned recently on the news.
I have a question for everyone. I exercised for years and years and years, and I really can't do that much now. I go downstairs, we've got an exercise bike that I get on, and then I lift weights. Um, how do you all feel? Do you feel like that's beneficial to MS? Do you all exercise, or can you, or do you want?
Yes and no. Is it beneficial? Absolutely. Do I? No.
No.
I started in November. I found out through another MS group of a trainer that actually has a special niche with MSers. So I started working out with him once a week for 2 months, and I bumped it up to 2 times a week. It's just 30 minutes each time because I have a hard time judging my exertion levels and whether I overdo it. So the fact that he gets me he pushes me forward, but then doesn't push me too far where I'm going to be in bed for a day or two. And the amount of weight and things I can do in the past 6 months is phenomenal. I feel so much better. I'm stronger. ADLs is so much easier now to be able to lift something up because I lost a lot of strength at one
because they're
point
not listening to me anyway.
Yeah.
because I was bedbound for about 5.5 months, so I lost a lot of strength, and so it has been amazing. I'm so grateful and gratitude for everything because it's been a game changer. And I can't, and lifting weights bores me to tears. So someone telling me what to do and telling me when to stop and do something else, and then keeps talking to me, so I like have my little social hour, works for me. I do not have the what's the word I'm looking for? I am not one of those people that can self work out and do well. Cardio I can, but the lifting the weights is not my baby.
So you feel like it's beneficial to MS to be working out, all of you?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, it keeps up everything else.
And,
Okay.
and
Keeps you working and right.
Linda,
Yeah, I find there's articles and stuff, and I know that if I've talked about Aaron Boster and stuff, Dr. Boster, and I think he just put up a video not too long ago about just the benefits of exercise in MS and what that is. I'll look that up and post
Okay.
that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Linda,
because there's a lot of resources about exercise. No matter your ability, your usage, your strength, or there are ways, different exercises. There's a number of places on the internet if you just search for MS exercises. I know
Okay.
that sounds really broad, but Linda, did you by chance, if you would feel comfortable sending us your email address, I can send you some of that information.
Sure, I can
All
do
I do
that.
is just to complain about
Okay,
the
thank
illness.
you.
And if you don't even fucking listen to me.
Who would I send it to? Who would
There,
I send my
there's a chat window. This is where I'm going to need someone who's a little more technologically savvy, Kim Stroh.
help?
If you guys like to recommend, tell Linda how to do that just so that we can kind of connect. And then, Linda, I will send you some information, just
Okay.
different MS things.
Okay.
There's
If
a
you're on
chat
the
window.
computer, there's a bubble on the upper right hand side that you can hover on and then type in there what you want. And you can send it to organizers only. You can send it to all of us, whatever you like.
Okay.
And then I also wanted to put on your question here, Linda. I'm reading that book. It just came out by Sanjay Gupta. He's the brain surgeon that like is a CNN commentator, doctor guy. And he has a huge chapter about exercise and how it's one of the most. He focuses more on dementia, but then again, neurobrain. You just go on and on and on and on about exercise. So if that's
Okay.
what you need to get motivated,
Okay.
there
All
you
right.
go.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, I
Linda,
guess I kind of
I'm
want to
sorry.
talk. I kind of want to talk myself out of it. I knew it was good for me. I think it's good for everybody, but it's making myself do it like everyone else. It's getting the motivation up.
Hire the person worth their weight in gold. Trust me.
Yes.
The way I feel now versus 6 months ago, night and day. And like
Well, I wish I.
today,
Oh, Kim, because I've only been coming here for like 2 months, and you were like,
I was a mess.
you're
Hot
alive.
mess.
Yeah, and you just have this great smile. And
Yeah, I'm
well,
more
I think
normal
it's
right now.
also whatever kind of exercise that works for you. I'm in the yes, no, and the different. Like, yes, I did exercise, and no, and did it help? No, because I keep getting more paralysis. And the last time I spoke with a physical therapist, she said, well, if you don't use it, you lose it. And I said, don't tell me that because I'm losing it. It's not by anything I'm not doing. So it's just, and I'm only 2.5 years with the diagnosis, but I also want to tell you, I'll be 70 in May. So I don't even know how old you are, but I can't be far from you in either direction. And, unfortunately, I don't like to do the bad news, but unfortunately, I'm discovering, I know I've had symptoms for 20 years. For me, I never had what I could call relapse and remission from whatever I know, but I've had symptoms slowly for 20 years. And the progression in the last 2.5 years has been rapid. And I can only anticipate more rapid loss of function. I don't know why the MS specialist won't say it. I don't know why they don't say it. And so, just from reading blogs and reading things, from what I understand is I probably had it for long. I might have had it longer than the 20 years, but I've noticed in 20 years, I had numbness in my hand. I got these symptoms. Everything got, put on, oh, you're getting older, you're this, you're that. You got anxiety. It's like, I don't have, like, what? I've got urinary frequency and bowel urgency because you have anxiety. It's like, first of all, I'm Jewish. I'm from New York. Like anxiety. I lived in Israel. It's like anxiety. Nobody ever even uses that word. It's just called living. But, I was actually, much calmer and much more mentally healthy than I'd ever been. So why now do I have to run to the bathroom? So that part is, was just very frustrating. Like Elizabeth said, at least somebody believes me because I finally feel like people are believing me because I've been talking about cognitive decline. And they're like, you seem fine to me. And now it's becoming more apparent to my providers. Wait, what did you say? Wait, you said you have Monday at 1:30 on the 12th or Wednesday on, did you say two, what? And they kind of want to move on. And I'm, wait, which day did you say? What is it? So they're finally kind of getting it. Or my social worker said, have you talked to the therapist about that? And I just start crying. I go, I don't remember what I talk about. I don't remember these things, that they're finally seeing it. But even the cognitive, to have, and that first neurologist, he actually I said, I have cognitive impairment. He goes, well, you seem fine to me. And it's like, well, obviously you fucking know better than me what's going on with me. It's just the dismissal of symptoms and that I'm getting more weak. So sadly, Linda, from what I understand, and you could, if I were you, I'd go, all right, I'm going to hang on to everybody's different. But from what I understand is, because of my age, that I just don't have the resources that I had when I was younger to mitigate all the symptoms, all the assaults on my body that keeps going on. So
Exactly.
Linda, can I add something? It's just a cautionary tale. I had to stop working in June of 2017. I'm secondary progressive, and I did the worst thing you could possibly do. I sat on my butt, I read books, and I watched TV, and I played games. I have gone so downhill doing that to myself, just sitting doing nothing. In the
Yeah.
last 6 months, I started doing at home physical and occupational therapy. It's the smartest thing I could have did for myself. It just in terms of, and obviously exercise for me isn't a whole lot because you've degenerated so much, but just the little bit I can do is so helpful. And even for my state of mind, I would say for cognition as well. So if that helps to motivate you, then please,
I mean, I
having
know it's
lived it,
true. I know it's true. I mean, I feel better once I do it. Um, it's just making myself do it. It's just
I
the
know.
motivation. And once
For
I
three
do
years,
it,
I know.
I know I'm no different than anyone else. Once I do it and I'm looking at the clock and I'm thinking 5 more minutes and I'm done, it feels so great. Then I think, well, I've got another day or two before
Are
I have
you
to do it
texting?
again, but I probably should do it every day.
You know
No?
what, Linda, can you break it up throughout the day?
Yeah.
Because I can't do like a full half-hour stretch. I just move
Sorry.
every 15 to 20 minutes, and it probably turns out to be several times throughout the day. It also helps with spasticity, which Elizabeth probably knows. If you just kind of keep moving every once in a while, it's helpful. It
I
doesn't
guess
have
I
to be
would
your half hour.
I would rather get it done and be done
I
with it
understand.
because I don't enjoy it that much. I used
No,
to years
same.
ago. I mean, I
Yeah,
worked out 2 or 3 times a week really hard. Plus, I cleaned houses for 22 years. And, I mean, I was so
It's like a
physical.
fitness session, you know?
So it's just been hard to adjust to all of this.
yeah, it is.
yeah, but
It is.
Linda, I can also like Megan said, I hate I hate that. I hate the thought of exercise. And I was doing some when I had the physical therapy, and unfortunately, because I keep I've lost 20, I'm at 25 pounds looking lighter. I'm in fact heavier because I nibble and I'm not moving anymore. But I lost muscle tone. And and then because of pandemic, well, I couldn't even go swimming
It's
because it's
time to
something I
get
like
rid
to
of that.
do. I don't have to make myself. I mean, even when I make myself do it, it's not a hard make myself do it. It's like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's like, okay, I'm going to do that. And then in September, then September they opened the pool near me, but then I could never log on fast enough because I only got one hand to get a spot. And I started in October, November swimming, and it made such a huge difference. And then I live in California, and so then like mid-November is like not going swimming, December not going swimming, January not going swimming, and February. And so I really deteriorated like Megan, just like that. I just was deteriorating in addition to the progression of my disease. And then I just went, I think I could handle this. And I went swimming, even on a day where it was cloudy and it was kind of cold. And I there's only one place sort of near me that I don't live in that city, so that I get second priority to sign up, and I'm always on the wait list. And I wait for that call, and they go, "We had a cancellation. You want to go swimming?" I'm like, the last time I was on the phone with the physical therapist, I'm like, yes, I'm going. I have to go. I have to put on my bathing suit. I have to drive. I have to go. And the first time was really hard. And the second time was okay. And then like the third, the fourth time, I was like, I feel amazing. I feel amazing. This was, and I was going to go shopping afterwards. And then I went home and I was exhausted for a while. So now after I feel amazing swimming, I'm like, just go home. Just go home because I have to use a walker. It's near this really great bakery and pizza place. And I was like, oh, let me stop there. And it's like, no, you got to take the walker out. No, don't do it. Just go home. But swimming, to find the thing that you could do that feels good. And there used to be a dance practice I was a part of. Not so much dancing, but it's movement. And I made myself go back to that. Like same week, I think I came here. Like this group changed my life. It really did. I did this. 2 days later, I said, okay, I'm going to go back to this dance practice, but I don't know. And that just changed me too. So I think it's finding the things you can do because I I did bring the weights in here. I was like, okay, maybe I'll do the weights while people are here, but I
Yeah,
hate doing it. But it just really makes a difference.
it makes the difference. Yeah, Frank, I mean, we haven't heard much from Frank or Donna. How are you both doing?
Well, I tell you what, I'm still on oxygen. My my oxygen saturation level is right on the edge of not needing it all the time. It has really improved. Um, I got the hospital bill yesterday. Yeah, that was fun.
And just
Actually,
to fill Linda and I think Megan, maybe you didn't know, but Linda and Megan, Frank was diagnosed with COVID a few months ago.
Frank, I'm so sorry.
it was, well, I was diagnosed the 1st of January, but I had had problems. I'd had problems with MS.
Yeah, you wish. It's pissing me off.
I had problems with my MS since the 1st of December. And so, yeah, it was kind of an issue when I opened up the bill yesterday and it said some diagnosis code that it was life-threatening disease. And I'm going, I did? I didn't realize it was that serious. But no, I'm bouncing back. I'm going to be okay. And, I just hope I don't have to stay on this oxygen forever. We'll see.
But that's good. Thank you for sharing and we're glad you're here. And Donna, yeah, Donna, how are you doing? Just to check in with you really.
Yeah. I'm okay. Like I said when I introduced myself, for I don't even know how many years, my scans have been stable. That's why they took me off of my meds. In fact, the trial was to see if people that had stable scans had to stay on their disease modifying drugs. And so they're keeping me off of it. But my biggest thing, as far as I have sleep deprivation that I suffered for a couple of decades. At first, they didn't really say it was connected to my MS. Now, I think it is. And that's what I had to stop working because of the sleep deprivation more than my other MS symptoms that I had. 2 years ago, I stopped working. That's been my hardest thing, is the weakness from sleep deprivation, and we deal with cognition, which I understand that's MS, but also with not sleeping. But I'm listening to all you guys, and Tim was diagnosed. I remember that time. I just wanted to encourage him, because I don't know, it's not the end of the world. You're gonna make it. And I just remember it being so devastating hearing that diagnosis. But I needed a long time. I was working, I was running a school. I did things that they said I shouldn't have been able to do with my diagnosis for many years. So I don't know. I would like to encourage him, because I know that fear, that being newly diagnosed, not knowing what's going to happen. That you take one day at a time. And if you have faith, you just trust God will give you what you need for that day.
Yeah.
I didn't believe them when I finally found the MS specialist nurse. I don't know why the MS specialist didn't tell me she had a nurse, and she was awesome, but I happened to find her by mistake, thank goodness. And she said, "Oh, it's always the hardest when you first diagnose," and I really couldn't believe that. I just couldn't believe that, especially since I have so much more decline. And the only time I would say I'm a professional sleeper, because I'm really good at sleeping. And I was having insomnia because, the anxiety of like, what the hell is, what the hell? I can't even get a second opinion. What's wrong with me? What? You're asking me which infusion I want? Why would I have to make that decision? There were just so many things that, caused me not to sleep. And even though I personally, it's probably more than anything because of my age, that I am constantly experiencing decline. Linda, also I want to encourage you, because I had the same thing. What, I have to use a cane, and then I was given a brace, and it's like, what, you mean I can't wear skirts anymore? I mean, like, that's the least of my problems now. Maybe getting on a skirt and buttoning it is probably harder than thinking about whether I could wear it or not. But and I saw some guy talk about furniture walkers, which it sounds like you are, and I am definitely a furniture walker. But I have walkers all around now. I mean, now I hate that I like my walker. I hate that thought that I like it. But I have this walker. I think I can't. Let's see if I can do it with the screen. But I have a walker in my house, and I put a tray. I put a basket, because these are just things no one tells you. I tied it down, but I put a basket with a tray on top, and it's like, wow, I can move around. I can move around. I can get stuff I can get stuff out of the refrigerator. I can put it on the counter. I don't understand why nobody, it seems like, boy, somebody could have at least mentioned something like that. That, you're just left alone with everything to figure it out by yourself. And
And I think, Karen, that's part of the benefit of coming to this group, is we can all share our experience and information and things like that. And I hope that, everybody will share just kind of what their experience is and what tricks work for them. And, like you with the walker, and just how we're talking about medication with Tim, and just sharing, with Linda, just, with the exercise. Just, I think that's been a resounding yes from your fellow group members. Like, yes, we have to exercise, and it's just one of those things that it's good to be with, quote unquote, I always say, my people. I like to be in this community with people who get me. And that's why it's so helpful that we're all here. So,
and I take Elizabeth, I take you with me to the pool, because it's not easy to go, and it's even harder for me to drive. And there's one near my house I can go to tomorrow that's 82 degrees. But you said there should be more warm pool. It's like 80 or 81. The one, but you've said that, and that just like that alone, Elizabeth saying, she said it early on, if we had access to a pool, if we had access to a pool. So when sometimes I don't really want to go, but I know I'm like, okay, if I can go once a week, if I can at least go once a week, of course it'd be better if it was more, but at least, come up with that little once a week. But I do take you with me to the pool. I didn't think about it until now that I just go, I can do this. I can go. And she's right. She's right. If we had access to a pool, because if the water was cooler than the 81 or degrees, I wouldn't be in it.
That's so
Maybe
great.
a,
Oh, that's so
I mean,
great.
this may be a stupid question, but I'm just curious. How many of you need some like cane or wheelchair or walker to get around? Does everybody?
Yeah.
Everybody pretty much?
Yeah.
Not,
Yeah.
not
I'm
completely
in a
everybody,
withdrawal.
but
I'm
a
a
good
lucky one.
majority.
I do not yet.
What?
Later.
I do not.
You
I
don't?
don't.
I
No.
Was it
do.
hard when you first had to do it? Was it really? I'm sure that's not.
Horrible. It's devastating. It's
Okay,
horrible.
okay.
It was so
I,
bad.
I, I just want to know it's not just me, that I'm not feeling sorry for myself,
It's not just
because
you.
I hate the cane, but I also have really bad osteoporosis.
Mm.
So part of it is for my safety so that I don't fall and break more bones, because my balance is so screwed up. But I just wanted to know, I only know one other person that has MS, and it's my younger daughter's girlfriend, and she's had it since she was like 25. She's got it really bad. And she started dragging her foot and everything when she was like 26. So I have felt so lucky for
Yeah.
all these years, but it still doesn't make it any easier when it finally hits you, and you can't do what you used to do.
Linda, can I tell you, it was so empowering. Because I'm stubborn, I waited too many years to get a cane, and I used to walk around looking like I was intoxicated,
Yeah, me
hanging
too.
into stuff. Yeah, and I was just so stubborn. When I finally gave it, I went to CVS and got a cane.
Yeah,
People expect you to be clumsy when you have a cane. When you don't have a cane and you're clumsy, you look like you're mentally impaired or,
yeah, yeah,
drunk.
yeah,
So it was really, it was the smartest thing I did.
yeah.
And again, just for my safety. Then it took me several more years to admit I needed a rollator. So it was like degrees of stubborn.
And
But
then
yeah,
I
it
have
was a good thing.
the rollator, and I go to the grocery store,
Mhm.
especially the close one near my house where, it's very small and people know each other. And I often can park in the handicap spot, and I grab a cart and I hang on to that. But now I'll go into that one with the little cart. But anywhere I go now, I'm horrified that I embrace not just my walker, my collection of walkers. But I take my walker in to go grocery shopping now, because I would sometimes just take a cart and it's like, oh, look, this cart here, I can pretend. But then
Yeah,
if I step away, because I can stand, it's the balance of the walking that's hard. And I can't get up and down a curb or even any unstable ground. But if I step away to look at the yogurt and somebody bumps into me,
yeah.
so if I have the walker, it's just like, stand back, everyone, old lady with a walker.
Well, it's like security too,
Yeah.
I feel it, and I'm surprised that I do that now, and I keep it in the back of my car. I don't know how much longer I'll be able to drive, because now I actually have to hang on to my car to get to the trunk, not the trunk, whatever, the hatchback, to get the walker out. And I found the 11-pound walker, so I could actually get it out of my car.
Mhm.
But it's devastating. It's just
Yeah.
devastating.
It's hard to
Some
adjust your. Go ahead, Tricia. Go ahead.
Yeah,
sorry.
this is
Uh,
Linda's husband, John. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
mhm.
I have a couple of comments. Number one is one of the things that Linda's neurologist recommended for her for sleep deprivation was a very simple drug called gabapentin. It works very, very, very well for Linda. She has to take it every night, really, to get sleep.
You're like an hour before.
Yeah, about an hour before. But for those folks that have had it before, if you've not had it prescribed, it seems to work very, very well for Linda. So that's just one comment. The other comment that I wanted to ask is at the beginning of the call, I thought I heard somebody say, whatever you do, don't get the COVID vaccine. I'd like to know who that was and why.
That
Yeah.
was Tammy, and she's left.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I thought I heard that too, and I just forgot it immediately because nobody here was sick.
Yeah,
I got both of my shots and I was fine.
yeah.
we both got them.
There's
My
information
neurologist pushed
there.
me to get it.
Yeah,
I'm
talk
okay
to
with
your
people
doctor.
who don't. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
okay with people who don't want to take the vaccine, but
We've already gotten
don't
both
preach.
of them.
But don't preach. Just do it. We've all been, talking about it and hashing around about it, not just here, everywhere. It's your choice.
And
Yeah.
and John, if you and Linda are concerned or wondering about that, if you go on to the internet and look for the National MS Society, I know for sure that they have information. Because if you're on a disease modifying therapy and you're thinking about taking the COVID vaccine, depending on the therapy, there's a little bit of math and scheduling that you have to do with like your infusion or your medication and the
We
vaccine.
actually we've had both of our shots. We just were curious why somebody said that you shouldn't get it.
Yeah, well, that's not a
That was not medically based on anything of what
Okay. All right.
your
Well, that's good to
doctors.
know.
Yeah,
That's good to know.
yeah, no, that was somebody's opinion, not anything based on true medical
No,
background.
based on science.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah, well, because like that was my issue with the Ocrevus because I was taking the beta serum for 20 plus years. So when they came out with the vaccine and stuff, I paid no attention to timing it out because their beta serum was no problem. But then when I got off the beta serum, now all of a sudden I've got one of the problem children with getting the COVID because of what Ocrevus does to your immune system and stuff. I have to now all of a sudden I can't get my vaccine until medically saying like 12 weeks after my last infusion. So, there are challenges with that. And I know with Jennifer taking the Rituxan, she's also on a delay, but she's fine because she's already taken she's got her first of the Moderna shots. And see, I'm talking for her. But she has to go and get her second second shot
in a few weeks.
in a few weeks.
So
Yeah, so that
yeah,
so yeah, that no people with MS, and I know that stuff. I mean, and again, Dr. Bosser, I know that Brandon
Dr.
Bieber and Barry Singer, all these neurologists that are on, look them up on Twitter and stuff. Huge, reputable neurologists, and they encourage, and they're getting the shots themselves, and so yeah. As
Can
far
you
as
talk about Dr. Boster? Because you mentioned him twice already, and I heard somebody else mention him once, and I'm like, I don't, who that? I think I looked him up once, but I still didn't know what my opinion was of him. So since you mentioned it,
he's just a neurologist that has his own clinic in the state of Ohio, and we live in Michigan. And we've had interactions with him when he was in Michigan. So we just mention his name quite often, but he's a really good resource. And if you're newly diagnosed, Tim, for example, or if you've been living with the disease for a while, he just has a lot of information and he makes a lot of YouTube videos and he speaks quite often. In fact, he spoke with an ANCAN family event a few months ago that if you go onto YouTube, you can look up and you can see he has multiple sclerosis in his family. So when he talks about the disease, he's just that much more of a credible resource because the disease did touch him personally. And so that's why Dan and I were I don't want to say we're sweet on him, but we're sweet on him, and we will talk very kindly about him. So,
Well, I
yeah.
Dana
just I
Jennifer,
wanted to know that where that came from because I only heard about it from this MS. I never got invited back. I don't know if they ever did it. I didn't like that group. It was like they did I forgot what they called, like a meetup or something like that. And they go, and we have Dr. Buster, and we have Dr. Buster. And so I was like, well, maybe I don't want to like Dr. Buster, but you keep mentioning him. So I thought, okay, I'll
So
keep
look him up. We'll send you a link, but I mean, just go to
I just
YouTube
looked
and
him
search
up.
Dr.
Yeah.
Boster. I mean, his videos, and he's very engaging, very active, very, very smart, and very personable. And like he puts MS at just people level, not like neurologists speak. So
So we're getting close to, depending on your time zone, we're getting close to the end of the meeting, and I know we've had a lot of really good conversation, but I just want to check in and see, like, Mike, how are you doing? Is there anything that any questions here at the end?
I'm doing very well, thanks. I enjoy listening to others talk about their situation, and for Tim, who's sort of new to this, it's going to change over time, and I think you should get the best medical, whether it's Johns Hopkins or UVA. Go get the best right away. It took me 15 years to figure out, longer than that. With Kim's help, there's a Mayo Clinic right near where I live, and I never thought they would take me, but they really changed my life and my situation. I'm now diagnosed with secondary progressive, so I'm not taking any drugs at all. Thanks to Frank, who's doing the same. And go get the best. People are talking tonight about neurologists not knowing that they have MS and figuring it out. That's crazy talk. Um, and there are neurology based groups that do everything but MS, and then there's one guy somewhere who does only MS, and that's the guy you want. And the young guys are well trained, and the older guys have much more experience. People like us are watch you walk down the hallway and tell you what's wrong with you. Thank you for giving me the platform, Jennifer, and appreciate it.
Well, thank you thank you. That's a stunning endorsement as someone who's been living with the disease for a while, Mike. It's just really good to hear you say something like that. That's important information. And Tim, I know that you're new with this, but there's just a lot of wisdom that just came out of Mike's mouth. So thank you. That was good. And Tim, this was your first group tonight. Linda, you as well. Tim, is there anything here at the end, anything, questions that we can help either of you, or just because so many of us know each other and have been to the group before, I don't want to exclude anyone, but I was just the new members.
I've got a question. So Dan and Jennifer, you're married
Yes.
yes,
and you both have MS?
Yes.
Wow.
I often joke that we met at an MS event, and I say
Oh,
I
did you?
didn't have MS. I just use it as an excuse to pick up chicks.
Did you
But
meet her?
yeah, but no, we met in an event. Gosh, 19 years ago. Yeah, as we've been married, it'll be 16 years in September.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
So you're very good support system for each other. Obviously.
Yes.
yeah, it's something where they always say that it's easy because then you've got a spouse that understands, but at the same time,
Exactly.
when one of us is down, that messes up our world. When if I get sick, just because I have to help Jennifer transfer, and if I can't transfer her, that's but that for those few times a year it happens, it's worth
Well, I
it.
do know. I mean, like every day, like you say, every day is different. And my husband will say, "How are you doing today?" And I'll say, I'm just kind of weak today. But he doesn't really understand. I mean, he tries to, but he doesn't understand what that means. Some
Yep.
days I feel stronger. Some days I just sit and I know I need to stop doing that. I need to get up and move around more. And I will. You guys have given me some encouragement, yes.
Yeah, and that's good. That's good to hear. And yeah, that's the beauty of the group is that you have people that care and that will, I don't want to say hold you accountable, but that will support and kind of hold you accountable. So
Yeah, next
Yeah.
time you're here, we'll say, how'd the exercise go, Linda?
yeah,
I hear
Okay.
We'll be like, Tim, did you get a new practitioner? Come on.
yeah.
But
So
also, Linda, don't underestimate, I don't feel like doing anything today. In fact, I didn't leave the house for 3 days, but that's okay.
Well, and
You know,
I haven't left the house for like 3 days. I get to the point, and I need to stop this. I get to the point where it's just too much trouble.
it
So I
is.
figure I'll just stay home. And I don't want to, and my husband wouldn't mind, but I don't want him to have to be there and help me more than he already does. So sometimes I think I'll just stay home. And I'm okay with that. I'm old, you know, like on the last year, you feel better staying home. You feel safer. But we've had both of our vaccines, so now we need to get out. And we're getting out. We're doing a little bit more.
And I'm really not much of an ogre, so please don't think.
I didn't mean that. I didn't mean that.
Jennifer made a good point today when we had a friend of ours who was in town and like helping his grandma with something, but he needed a ride somewhere to pick up a car or something. And it's like he called us because we're always like, Ryan, if you're in town, you ever need anything, call us. And it's just like, so he called and he's just like, could you give me a ride? And he just like, he felt bad about doing it, but we're just like, how good that made us feel that we
Yeah.
were able to help him. So then Jennifer said, this is why, when we need people to help us, we don't feel bad about it because it's just like if it was there, if your husband needed you to help him, you would do it in a heartbeat and you'd
I
feel
know.
good about it. And so I'm just like, yeah, it's like
I just don't like to ask for help. I mean, I'm like everyone else. I
Right,
would
but
rather do it myself.
Linda,
But
you're depriving people of giving them a gift of helping you and making them feel good.
okay.
Thank you very much.
Excellent point.
I'm serious. Like,
Thank you
there's a
very much.
huge thing about, for me personally, having MS, it's a constant grief thing and always adjusting to the new normal. And you get used to something, and then something gets ripped away from you, and then it comes back again. Like, oh, great, I get to enjoy this. Like, I was able to read again versus taking 9 weeks to read a book. And it's just you have to learn. I'm sorry, I'm gonna go on the soapbox, I'm tired, guys, but I've learned that I have to just ask for help all the time, and if I can't do something, allow people to help me because it helps them. And I've also learned that I have to let my feelings out or else they get in and then I kind of blow. So I need to kind of constantly always go let my feelings feel the heal, I guess is the way they say it. But
Yeah. Very
so
true.
I've learned it's too toxic to keep it in. So
Yeah.
do not feel bad about asking for help. That's giving other people opportunities to help you. You just have to be specific. Like, hey, can you take me here? Hey, can you help me with that? Versus like,
Mhm.
oh, can you help me? Well, how do you want me to help? You got to be a little bit more precise.
Yeah.
a
I
loaded
agree.
question. Yes. So then we will say that to mark your calendar for, and we already had discussed this for Tuesday, April 27th, 8:30 Eastern time. That's the next meeting. You guys all have the login information. If you didn't put your email in the box, or how do they get the email?
Chat.
The chat window, just so you can get on the mailing list, so you can get the invites and everything. So that's on the 27th. I don't know. Is there anything going on the 28th, I believe? I don't know if anybody's doing anything on April 28th. Are you doing anything that night, Elizabeth? Just asking.
Yeah. Yes, I am doing a performance, solo arts heal posted by Ancan and the Marsh Stream. And yeah, right when you said the 27th, I was like, oh crap, that's the day before. But I was unblocked today. I had this mental block because I'm planning to do a tap piece, and I'm planning to sing a song, and my brother's going to accompany me. He plays various stringed instruments, and I couldn't figure out what I wanted to sing, and I kind of soprano mostly, but I don't like soprano songs very much, and I don't know, I don't vibe with them, and so I was really trying to figure it out, and I just have this mental block, like it's got to be a song that I can sing in my range, but I was like, to heck with it. My brother plays a string instrument. He can help me change the key if I need to and raise it up. So I figured out my song.
Good
I don't
song.
know if I should release it or keep it a secret, but that was a breakthrough for me today. And I had bad news this morning because the J&J vaccine was pulled and I had an appointment, but I had better news today because right after they canceled the appointment, I clicked refresh on the browser window, and I was able to get an appointment for the Pfizer vaccine, which was the one I wanted.
Good.
So
Now,
it's just been a good day.
a couple of quick things I just wanted to say. Hopefully by now everybody knows where the chat window is, the little speech bubble in the top right-hand corner. I put two things in there. First of all, Linda, you asked about Dan and Jen, and you should really go to their website. I put the website link in there and read their blog, because there's a lot of great stuff in there. So you can just click on that link and it will take you right to the to their page. The other thing that I put in there is for Karen is the link to the webinar we did, the talk MS with Dr. Boster, because he really was special. And so you can get a good sense of him from that webinar and meet the other four pairs, family pairs that we spoke to about living with MS. I think it was a really great webinar.
It really
And it had loads and loads of feeling. And the other thing I'll just put in very quickly, I did see after I hung up the first time, I did actually see that Elizabeth's poster was attached to the MS circular. So you can get all the information on Elizabeth's performance there. And the other place you can get...
What's the MS circular?
So there's a reminder that gets sent out to everybody. And you should read that?
I got it, but did I open it? No, because I knew.
Well,
I know everything. I know where I'm going on Tuesday.
okay. Well, if you open it, you'll see a beautiful, beautiful picture of Elizabeth at the bottom, and all the information. And I'm also just going to put in here the link to the Marsh stream on our website. I don't know if we have Elizabeth's poster in there or not. Probably I have to do some updating. Copy link address, I'll just put it in right here. So that's the other thing. So there you go. And I just wanted to ask quickly if Elizabeth and Dan and Jen and Frank can just give me 3 or 4 minutes after we finish the meeting, I would appreciate it. I just want to talk to you about if we can work with the MS Foundation and the National MS Society to get the poster out.
Absolutely, we'll be here.
Okay.
So with that, I mean it's almost, that's well after 10. There's a lot of good information in those chat windows, and I suppose anybody, I hate to just throw it out like kind of random, but does anybody have anything less that they need to talk about or feel that they any last stuff?
Thank you.
Yay.
I'm going to say goodbye. See you, Rick.
All right, goodbye, Mike. Thanks again for joining us.
See you soon, Mike.
Hey,
Yep.
take care, Mike.
And our
Mike,
next,
I'm so happy that this group has led you. Oh, I was going to say I'm so happy it's led him to Mayo.
yeah. And
So,
our next meeting again will be April 27th. And you have a link to, you can always hop on ANCAN. There's a blog on ANCAN that Frank is written for in the past. It's a really good resource, and just we can reach out and stay connected that way.
good night, everyone.
All right, sounds good.
Good night.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, the forum we have on the NCAN website for them, for us MSers. Karen, I posted a link to a study they're doing on the progressive MS.
Oh,
I don't think I even know about the forum. But is it intuitive? Because it was hard to get here.
If you just go to the home page, it's on the upper right-hand corner. It says form. Click on that. And then you might have to register for it, and then you're in.
I might
You have to
actually.
register the first
People
time.
posted. What?
You will have to register the first time, but there is a dedicated forum for this group that NCAN hosts on there.
Whenever you're registered, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
thanks for putting that information out there, Tree. And hopefully we'll see everybody on the 27th.
7th. Yeah. Okay.
All right, sounds good. Everybody have a good night.
All right,
Yeah,
take
you
care,
too.
everyone.
Bye, Karen. Bye,
Bye.
Megan. Bye,
Bye.
Tim.
Take care. Hey, Tim. I'll follow up with an email. I'll get some more information from Virginia folk.
All right. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely. All right. Take care.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Linda. Bye, John.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for stopping in.
Thank you.
See you in a
Bye.
couple weeks.
We may. Kim, of course you're welcome to
Yeah,
stay.
I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording here.
That's a very